After two not-so-successful movies, the Thor franchise seemed to be the least exciting of all the character branches of the MCU. However, Thor Ragnarok proved to bring energy and light into a former boring character. Hi guys, my name is Jobi-Wan and welcome to a channel in a galaxy far, far away. Like always, be sure to subscribe for more reviews on MCU films and other upcoming movies from DC and Star Wars. First things first, I can declare this movie to easily be the best movie out of the Thor trilogy. The director, Taika Waititi, did a fantastic job. He even voiced one of the characters, Korg, and I thought he was hilarious. His voice is very uniquely funny. It's sort of like, I tried to start a rebellion, but didn't print enough flyers. Only people showed up with me, my mom, and her boyfriend, who I hate. That was like my best impersonation of his voice, but you get the message. I really liked his character. Overall, I appreciated the story arcs for each of the characters. Thor's arc is all about being the god of thunder. His hammer gets destroyed, and with that he has to discover not really a new power, but a new understanding of his powers. He's basically put to the ultimate test, but in the end, it's all worth it. Loki this time around is all about being better, being more than just the god of mischief. He'll always be that. That will always be like his title, but he could be so much more than just his title, if that makes sense. As for Valkyrie, I walked into this movie thinking that she was a badass warrior, and she is both in present day and in her past, but her first appearance in the movie actually threw me off a little bit, but I understood it as the movie continued to progress. She's basically a warrior running away from her traumatic past, and because of her past, she is the way that she is in this movie, and for that, I loved it. I loved her. She was amazing, and I really hope that she comes back for a future film, either that being Infinity War or Avengers 4. The Hulk didn't have much of a storyline in this movie this time around. He was just there pretty much. They did mention something that could truly affect his character moving forward in the MCU. There was news that Ragnarok, Infinity War, and Avengers 4 will contain a 3-part story arc for Hulk. Whatever that was touched upon in this movie seems to be the starting point for this storyline. As for Hela, she was a great villain. Her logic and reason for why she wanted the throne makes total sense. It's not because she's evil and she just wants the throne for power and authority. She wants it for a very good reason, a very simple reason, and it's just great. And last, the humor of this movie was incredible. From the very beginning to the very end, this movie does not stop making you laugh. I remember hearing something about this movie being partially improvised, perhaps 50 to almost 80% of this movie being improvised. I fear that improv would ruin the movie, and watching the movie, it really doesn't. You can't really tell what scenes are improvised. Most likely the comedic scenes or the one-liners, but watching the movie, you're not worrying what is and what isn't improvised. The comedy in it feels natural and flows well, that you disregard the fact that this scene might have been improvised. Now for what doesn't work about this film. As much as I love this movie, it's not 100% great. The things that I'm about to mention don't make this movie 100% bad, but it's just some of the downfalls about this film. As much as I love the comedy in this film, I walked out of the theater thinking that there was 80% comedy, 20% seriousness and action. In other words, the comedy of the movie downplays the drama. You don't really feel the intensity or tension rise. The stakes that are in hand don't feel big enough because it's belittled by the humor in this film. You look back at Iron Man 3 and Civil War and say that those last films in their trilogies had tension building up. There were stakes that were very high. It was a very intense film. There was humor added into it, but overall it wasn't too much. With Ragnarok, you have the opposite. Ragnarok is the last Thor movie as we know it, depending on how well it does in the box office and with the critics. We could see a 4th installment, but initially this movie should have had more closure than it actually did. Avengers 3 and 4 will probably bring that closure to Thor like it will with other characters like Captain America and Tony Stark, but at least for its self-contained story arc, it should have felt more serious. Walking out of the theater, everything doesn't feel impactful, or at least impactful in the way that you'll miss what we're used to, but let's be honest. Thor wasn't really one of the most interesting characters, at least for me. He wasn't the most interesting or one of my favorite characters in the MCU, so maybe that's why I don't feel the same way that I did at the end of Civil War. So basically the final verdict is that the humor of this movie downplays the drama in the movie. And as for Hela, she was a great villain. She just had little screen time, and I really hope that she had more to do. She had one really big fight scene outside of the third act fight. I guess you can say that when you first meet her, you can consider that scene to be a fight scene, but she still deserved more screen time, especially since she's the first female Marvel villain. And as for Ragnarok, the actual Ragnarok event and prophecy, I'll save that for the spoiler review. For now, it wasn't really the main focus of the film, being that the movie is titled Thor Ragnarok. And of course, this is a Marvel film. Obviously, there will be an end credit scene. This time there will be 2, so stick around for those. And that's it for this video, but here's my question for you guys. Are you going to see Thor Ragnarok? Leave your thoughts down in the comments below. If you have seen it, please provide a spoiler-free comment down below and answer my poll in cards about how you would rank this movie. Be sure to subscribe for more reviews on Marvel, DC, and Star Wars movies. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. And other than that, my name is Jobi-Wan Kenobi. May the Force be with you, and have a marvelous day from the LA to the DC.